Previously on Survivor. The castaways were split into two tribes, Koa and Haku. Once the tribes were formed, they were immediately faced with a tough decision in electing their tribe's Kahuna. After a four-way tie on Koa between Jared, Andrea, Micah, and Zach, the four of them agreed to make Andrea the leader. On Haku, there was a tie between Martin and Devin, and although Martin wanted to avoid positions of leadership, he was put in the Kahuna position for his tribe. At the challenge, both tribes fought hard, but Koa came out on top, leaving Haku to go to tribal council. Along with the victory, Andrea was also able to find an immunity idol clue in the challenge. On the Haku tribe, Martin quickly found himself with a lot of power. With an extra vote for being the Kahuna, as well as an idol clue publicly given to him at the end of the challenge, Martin wasn't quite sure what to do with all of it. With some of the vote out, Becca, Devin, Lindsay, and Emily talked about forming an all-girls alliance to vote out Ricky. Meanwhile, Ricky, Matt, and Aiden had plans to vote out Emily. In the end, Ricky was voted out, leaving the tribe divided. Will Haku be able to make a comeback from this? Find out now in this episode of Survivor Kahuna.
Last week, Lindsay showed up at my apartment about 2 hours before tribal council and said that she thought we should vote out Martin instead of Ricky that week, and that she'd already talked to Emily and that they both wanted to do it. So that was a very stressful time. She came over here and we talked about it a bit, and she wanted to get Martin out because she thought he might have an idol from the idol clue, and that if he didn't play it, we could get the idol out now, and that if he did, it would just bounce on to Ricky because that's what everyone else was voting for, and that maybe then we could get Ricky to work with us because we would have saved him from getting voted out. So then Lindsay, Emily, Devin, and I got together about half an hour before tribal council, and we're all talking about this and arguing about it, and we could not come to any kind of decision at all. We ended up walking together from the union where we were talking to tribal council and just stopping across from the Anglo Center and just still not having come to a decision. Finally got them to budge so that they would vote for Ricky and not Martin. But oh my goodness, that was a stressful time. So gladly we smoothed everything over because I really didn't want to make a big move right out of the gate, and it's good to have the whole tribe unified still, but that happened. Well, we think Matt might have an idol now. Devin and Ricky during the first challenge, because they weren't doing anything, said that they saw Andrea pull a clue out of the poly spots. And then I was talking to Rachel from the other tribe this week, and she said that Matt pulled one out of our stack, and that Matt showed the clue to Chris, and then Chris showed the clue to her, and then she went looking for it, and she thought she knew where it was supposed to be, and she didn't find it. So Matt might have an idol, or Chris might have an idol, or Rachel might have an idol. I don't really know. So that was interesting to find out. And I think that's all that's happened.
so a lot has happened this week. I don't even know where to start. First off, Micah texted me and said that he wanted to have an alliance. I mean, not in so many words, but, and I think I trust him, mainly because he voted for me when we were talking about, like, well, we didn't talk, but when we voted on the team Kahuna, he voted for me and I actually voted for him. So I think I can trust him, because that was, like, before you really could strategize about anything. It was too quick. So he came to me and said that Chris also came to him and saying that he wants to be in an alliance, and he said that he wanted to be in an alliance with me. So now the core group is kind of like me, Chris, and Micah. And then Daria and Rachel and Chloe are kind of like a separate little group, but we want to tag team together against Jared and Zach. And I feel bad. I like Jared a lot. He's my friend. But I don't think that the whole group won't want him out, because they see him as kind of a threat and kind of just like a dead end, I guess. But then Zach is kind of like our main competitor, I think, on the team, especially after the merge, so we think we want to get him out first. The problem is with all this, me and Micah were talking that, like, as soon as they're voted out, I feel like the next targets are just going to be me and Micah, so we're trying to keep Zach in for as long as possible until the merge, and then right before the merge we want to vote him out. See, what's really interesting about all of this is I have an advantage as the Team Kahuna that I didn't know about, and I'm actually glad I found it, because I didn't find it till like Thursday, because I never checked my mailbox. But I basically get an extra vote at a tribe council convention. So that's interesting. I don't really know what to do with it yet. But I told Micah, yeah, that might have been a mistake, but it's fine. Basically because we wanted to play two sides, so he was worried that he would get kind of voted out if he played one side too well. So I said, like, well, I have an extra backup vote just in case, so we can keep you in. Except the thing is, it's not like a secret. So basically, okay, so JJ's gonna say, okay, all the votes have been tallied, so after the vote goes down, I have to say, oh, I have an extra vote. And I have to, like, basically reveal my hand. So that kind of reveals a lot. And I'm kind of nervous that I'm gonna have this big secret and have to be, like, ousted, I guess. So then I'm gonna hand it to him and give him another vote. Except that vote isn't good until, it's only good before the merge. After the merge, it's useless, but we don't know when the merge is gonna be. So now it's kind of just like a ticking time bomb, because we're worried that if we wait for Zach to get to the merge, like if we wait too long and he gets to the merge, then we're gonna have a harder chance at winning. Zach, when you're watching this, we think you're a competitor, so congrats. Now, I've been desperately searching for immunity idols, and I cannot find them. I got the clue, and I've been going all over the place with it. I think it's in the back 40, but then where it is there, I don't know, because it's in like the Frisbee golf course. We looked at holes like 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, because we thought that it was gonna be like a count by threes. That's what the clue said. But then it said it's in between these. So now it could be any of the other numbers that aren't counting by threes. But then that's basically the whole Frisbee golf course. So I just have to dig up the entire back 40 to find it. So that's convenient. But I'm just glad that I don't have, like, no one's being voted off this week, because then I might be in trouble. I just need to find it for next week. Basically, once we lose, it becomes desperate that I need to find it. Because it's gonna, and Micah doesn't know I have the immunity idol clue, so hopefully I can keep that one to myself. So even if he tries to backstab me, I still can be like, hey, JK, I got an immunity idol clue, and then he has to watch his back.
I'm Daria, and I'm on Koa tribe, so yay, we won. Super glad about that, especially I was nervous because I was playing the puzzle, but thankfully I can count 1 to 40, so it wasn't too much of a puzzle, and we were far enough ahead. So I'm feeling pretty good about our tribe. I definitely going in, I know Rachel, and trying to downplay that a lot. That's a big part of our strategy, because I think overall we're planning on doing as much as we can together, but like want to downplay that as much as possible, especially because we like spent 5 months in Chile together. Really like Chloe, we were working on the puzzle together, so we've met up and playing, and mainly we got a big 6, is what we have, like everyone except for Zach and Jared, because no one knows exactly if they can trust him, especially because Zach's good at acting and overall suspicious character. So, and Jared just schemes a lot, so I'm not sure. But we got a good 6 going, at least, and we're gonna bond a little bit and not worry too much about it right now.
Alright, so I'm Jared, I'm from the Koa tribe. So right now, our team won the last Unity Challenge, so as a part of like our team Unity, we're gonna have a board game night. So right now I'm making cinnamon rolls for my tribe. you know, because right now we're in a very good place together, and we're just all friendly because we don't have any reasons to be infighting and like debating on who to vote out or anything. So yeah. So interesting things that happened this week. So it was Thursday night at the Union, and we're sitting around, and Martin just walks over to me, Garrett, and James Gelock, and we were just talking about like how our day was and all that stuff. And then he gets onto the topic of Survivor. So he starts talking about Survivor, and he says that he has an immunity idol clue, which we all already knew. That happened openly at the end of the last time we met up. So he says that he memorized what it was, and he was about to start telling us what it was because he was very interested in like trying to get like other people's feedback on his clue. But Garrett, unfortunately, reminded him that I was playing Survivor. Martin completely forgot that I was playing the game and was about to just tell me his clue. So I was just sitting there silently waiting for him to just tell me everything. And Garrett just interrupts and ruins that whole moment for me.
Alright, so, I mean, this week's been pretty interesting. So, literally, like, right after the challenge, I contacted Rachel, and then, for my tribe, and met up with her. So, basically, we have, like, a duo alliance going on, because that went really well, because I feel like we really connected from that night. And then, literally, the next day, then I contacted Micah to hook up with him and see if he wanted to create, like, a little duo alliance. So I got the same thing going on. So I kind of have like 2 alliances right now that are just like me and them. And then overall we have like a big group of 6, which is everyone in our tribe besides Jared and Zach. I think that's ideally like what's going on here, hopefully. But I guess I just kind of set myself up with a few different options because I can go with Micah or Rachel. And then they're both within like the bigger alliance kind of thing. And then Micah's got his own things going on. He's been telling me stuff about like how he's been trying to steer the way that the other tribe votes. The night of after the challenge, Matt showed me like a clue to a hidden immunity idol. I don't know if it's legit, but I mean he showed it to me, and so I know at least one of the clues. I couldn't really find it. I told Rachel about it, and she couldn't really find it. She has an idea of where it would be based off the clues. And I think it's a good idea, but we think that someone already found it. So, but yeah, I don't know. I'm pretty excited. I just want this game to get moving. Like I've been waiting all week. Like I've been pumped, just because like I felt like this week was really good because there wasn't much pressure for me to create the relationships. I was just able to meet up with people. I've met up with Rachel a few times throughout the week, and just I don't know, just getting to know people is really cool. And I feel like I've definitely built a couple relationships, and hopefully they just keep growing, and I can stay in the game. But yeah, I'm just really excited to just keep playing the game. Like I wish it was like every day, you know. I think it's cool. Yeah.
So I'm on Tribe Koa, and we won last week's immunity challenge. So it's been a little bit of a low-key week. Not too much strategy going on, but the common theme is Zach is not to be trusted. So we're trying to figure out how necessarily to go about that. Apparently Zach and Jared think there's a guys alliance going on, but there's 4 and 4 of girls and guys. So I don't know what they're thinking, how that would work number-wise. Right now I'm talking to Rachel and Daria the most. Micah, I'm talking to him. He's great in theater, but I don't know where his strategy is right now. So we're talking to him and seeing what happens. Jared I reached out to, but he never responded to me, which is never a good sign if someone just doesn't answer you right off the bat. Apparently he doesn't answer phones very well, so that's the explanation, but we'll see what he does. But going into tonight, we're hoping we can win the challenge again. We have a bit of a number advantage now, having 8 members and the other tribe having 7 after tribal council. So if we can win, that'd be great, but if not, it looks like it will be Jared. Right now there's like a 6-person alliance. I feel like I'm number 6, so we're trying to work up the ladder a bit, maybe uproot some people and make myself a higher number in a separate off-route alliance, but that's where I'm at right now.
So far I'm feeling good about Survivor.
I have an alliance of 6 people, I think, with like a core 3 and 3 or 4 inside. So right now it's me, Chris, and Daria as like my core 3 people. And then we also have Andrea and Chloe and Micah in our alliance, so that should be good if we do go to tribal. But right now my plan is for us not to go to tribal, so then we can just not have to vote anyone out, because I feel bad about voting out people because I know them and that's weird. So yeah, but I think we have a good tribe. We're having game night later, so that should be a good thing. I also got told one of the clues for the immunity idol, which was cool, but I'm pretty sure Matt Philippi already has that because I went looking, climbed a bunch of trees, but it wasn't there, which is disappointing. But hopefully I'll get more clues and be able to find one later on. So that's my plan. Find idols, keep the majority alliance, which I hope actually is the majority alliance. So, yeah.
All right. For Koa, for those who did not notice, Ricky voted out at Haku's tribal council.
I'm over here, guys. You love you, Ricky.
First things first, Jared, I'll need to take that back. Thank you. Today, tribal immunity is back up for grabs. For today's challenge, you will have 4 tribe members grab this device here. It is a rubber band with 4 strings attached to it. Each tribe member will be holding on to only the piece of tape attached to the end of the string. You cannot grab the string at any other point other than where the tape is. What you'll be doing is you will be pulling and pushing as needed on the strings to expand and the opposite of expand, despan. That one. The rubber band around the cups. One at a time, you will take these cups and you will bring them over here to make a pyramid of cups. The pyramid will be 6 wide and 6 tall, going all the way. You can assemble the pyramid however you want. So you can do an entire row and then the next whole row. You can do a pyramid of 3 and go over from there. It's up to you. Does that make sense so far? So each tribe will have 4 members doing that. Once the entire pyramid, if any cups fall over or off the table, you can bring them back over here. If they fall off the stack but they are still upright, you can put them back on with the device. But if they tip over or if they fall on the ground, you need to put them back on the chair to get them again. As I said earlier, you can only remove 1 cup from the chair at a time. Rules for using the device to maneuver cups that are already on the stack. Let's say you place the cup on the stack, but it's slightly off and you want to move it. If you have another cup that you're currently holding with this, you can use that cup to move other cups. But you cannot simply take a string and push other cups with it. Does that make sense? Okay. Once the entire stack has been made on your table, the last 3 tribe members will assemble a puzzle. The puzzle is right here and right here. You will flip this over. This will give you the perimeter of the puzzle, and these are the pieces of the puzzle. I will show you one piece as an example to explain how this works. Each piece has colors on it. So you will want to make sure that the people you put on the puzzle are okay with colors.
Really?
So each piece will have a number will be divided into several colors and must connect to the same color. So there must be blue on this side, green on this side, red on this side. The border also has colors as well, and so the pieces must connect to the same colors on the border as well. There are numbers on the back. They will confuse you. Don't worry, I thought of that. That was just for my checking that I had all the pieces. You try to go up the numbers, you will not get it right. Feel free to try. You'll waste time. Does the puzzle make sense to everyone? All right. For this challenge, the Kahuna will not be deciding who goes where. You will get to decide that as a tribe. But first, Koa, you have 1 extra member. This challenge only requires 7 people. You must decide who you were sitting out of this challenge, while keeping in mind you cannot sit out the same players in back-to-back challenges. You can decide now who you're sitting out of this challenge. The person who is not in the challenge cannot help.
Okay. Can you
No.
Okay. Can I encourage?
Sure. No certainty can help. Yeah.
Okay.
So Andrew, are you sitting out of the challenge?
Yeah.
Okay. So for everyone else, Koa is going to be on this side, Haku is going to be on that side, so we're switching from last time. You guys can go ahead and decide who is going to be doing what, unless you already have. Okay, well, there you go. Alright, survivors ready? Go! Both tribes off to a quick start learning how this thing works. There's definitely a learning curve to getting used to cups. Haku with a slight lead, placing their first cup just before Koa. Both tribes are moving fast.
And bring it over towards this way. Let's bring it closer. Yeah. Alright, so let's just get it on.
Good job, team. Nice.
Good recovery.
Use the force.
Right. Make sure that it's settled on top of one.
I'm gonna keep giving hints and clues.
There we go.
It's hard to believe. Both tribes working on their 6th cup.
Hold on. Bring it over to me.
There we go. Yeah, good.
Too much.
Good.
Let's just drop it right there. Good.
Nice. Stay perpendicular to your person.
That's fine. We'll get it up. We'll get it up. We'll get it up.
Good.
Perfect. I just told this to you guys. So let's move it and just start building upon this.
Okay. Yeah. You're not allowed to help. You're on a good part.
Good.
Alright, that's great.
Wait. Careful.
Try to plow more, Zach. I know it's hard. Stay perpendicular to
Up on
your
the side?
person.
Yep.
That's fine. We'll get it up. We'll get it up.
Yeah.
Good. Now. Good.
Perfect. I just told this to you guys.
I'm proud of you guys.
Koa has a slight lead, but there's still a long way to go. That's far. Interesting. Each tribe using a different strategy of how to build their tower. Here's your pushing the two.
Good job, guys.
Yeah, but we're gonna go.
Good. I think it's perfect.
You guys are good at this. Good job.
Nice.
Nice. Cool. There we go. And there we go. All right. And careful. Good. Good. That was my bad, guys. All good.
Okay.
Nice.
Nice, guys.
Careful at the top. Watch it.
You got it.
No blowing a little tribe's tower.
Good job, guys.
Koa has one more up and down section to go. While Haku has their bottom 3 rows.
Nice,
It's okay.
Yo, let's just take these trips. A setback for Koa. They have dropped some of their cups on top of each other. You're trying to drop on the ground. Haku's steady strategy might pay off. You want to just take one cup? That's bad. You want to just take one cup? That's bad.
Oh my God.
Oh, suddenly Haku has a several cup lead.
Yes, go. Good job, guys. All right, careful. Direct.
Once you place this cup, you must return to the chair, and then the rest of your tribe members may go.
Hey, let's hit this one back there.
Yeah.
Careful about this. Yep.
Haku is taking their time with their last cup.
It's okay.
audience is freaking out more than the players. We have brackets on the wall. Guys, they have money on this game.
The audience worried about their brackets right here. My way.
Aiden,
Come this way.
no, back up. Take my money. Pull straight back.
Justin trying to bribe me with money.
Alright, that's good.
Go back. Go. Come on, Haku. Thank you, Ricky. We love you.
Koa only has a few more cups to go.
Come on, you guys got this. You guys can do it. Take your time. Okay.
Puzzles are often equalizers, but a few second lead could be the difference in this challenge. Once you place this, you must return to your chair before the rest of your tribe can go. Koa trying to place the last cup very carefully. Both tribes working on the puzzle now.
Alright, you guys got
It's
it.
going to come down to this.
There has to be a green ingredient. This one is this piece.
Black, that one goes here.
This isn't right. This piece.
You're doing good. Keep it up.
Got it.
Who is it going to click for first? Not me.
I'll figure that.
Remember your colors.
Guys, it's gonna be like this.
Yeah, there you go.
This one doesn't.
Yeah, JJ, are we allowed to?
If the rest of the tribe wants to observe and speak, they may. They cannot touch
This one doesn't go there. I'm sorry. Yeah, that's good. And then bring this. Hey, this one doesn't go here. This one doesn't go here. Bring it this way. Right here. That's good. And then bring this. Hey, this one doesn't go here. This one doesn't go here. Nope. I'll do it.
You can't do anything.
Jared, spying on the other tribe.
Micah, hello. You think you're going to see our puzzles? I'm not going to let you. What? There's none of that going on. Oh wait, and even if I let you see the puzzle, you wouldn't be able to. Oh.
Either one. There's
We don't have it right because green is nowhere. Because green is nowhere.
diagonal pattern.
Both tribes making progress. The fun thing with this puzzle is you never know if that's good or not.
Thanks, JJ.
Progress is good, but you don't know if you're actually getting closer.
We need maybe to try a different black and red up in that corner. Because we need green to be more
Figuring out how I take during challenge.
Alright, so
You guys got it.
God.
True, that would
That would be a game changer. Excellent time for me to reveal that I can, in fact, see color. Oh my God.
true, that would be a game changer.
That would be the longest con. Hannah, it'd be a great time for you. It'd be a great time for you or someone else to order me those colorblind glasses.
Real help.
Oh my gosh, do we get it?
Yes! Yes! Yes!
JJ, other tribes pause. Haku! Speak from tribal council! All right, Haku, who wants the bunny? Who wants the bunny? Marty! Marty! Alright, getting the bunny.
Mark, I love you.
Oh my god.
Four score! 7 years ago!
We were a tribal.
Just kidding, 1 week ago. Martin, as the winner, winning Kahuna, you must choose one member of Koa to receive a clue to a hidden immunity idol. Because no one has received a clue in this way from Koa yet, you can give it to whoever you want. You cannot look at it yourself. You cannot discuss with your tribe. You must decide. Should have done that before. You can choose whoever you want to give a clue to. Martin giving the clue to Daria. Daria has received a clue to a hidden immunity idol. All right, Haku. Congratulations, you were safe this week. No tribal council. Enjoy your week off.
Thank you.
As for Koa, your winning streak of 1 has come to an end. I'll see you this Sunday for tribal council. Until then, good night.
Alright, so week 2 was a success. We won pretty handily. I was very excited about that. I felt like I did a very good job in the physical aspect, which I knew I would. And I felt like I gave great direction. Right now, I have a solid alliance of 6 people, so I'm hoping to keep that going. There's some people in the other tribe who don't necessarily think I'm in alliance because I've been lying to them, so I'm hoping that eventually down the road that'll come into my advantage, that the other tribe will try to join up with me, and at the merge I can blindside them one by one, so that's the goal. Pretty ecstatic, like I said, and can't wait for the next week.
One of the greatest questions that I've gotten during this game is, Martin, why did you give the clue to Daria? Well, I wanted to choose the person that I thought would be least likely to go and search for the clue. On top of this, Daria looked away from me purposefully during the time when I was supposed to give it out, showing that she did not want to have the clue in the first place. So by giving it to her, I believe that the idol is actually safer than it would otherwise, because I don't think she's going to really go out and look for it very much. The best part about this entire moment was that, as you had seen before, Andrea was the one that had given me the clue for our idol. Well, I looked her directly in the eyes as I was going to hand out the clue, and you could tell that she was kind of excited by the idea that, oh, I'm going to get the clue, Martin's going to give me the clue, and as I looked her directly in the eyes, I hand the clue over to Daria.
I'm shocked that Ricky went home first. He just seems like he seems very charismatic, someone who would make a great addition to the team. Because I don't think that you want to, knock off your best people right away. I mean, because they can be contributors, to challenges. And I'm shocked because I think Ricky could have made a phenomenal player. So I'm shocked that they let go of him so quickly. Yeah, but no. As far as tonight, our team, we bonded together. We were great. We got just a bit too hasty with the cups at the end, and overall, I think that gave us, the disadvantage. But I'm excited for our team still. I think we have a lot of really great team builders. I'm excited to see where this season of Survivor takes off.
So basically, all I was going to start with saying was Zach did contact me and meet up with him. So today we did meet up and talk for a little bit. He really wants. He thinks that he can bring in Jared and he trusts him. And then I can bring in Rachel. And right now he really wants to get rid of Chloe. Which I was either wanting Chloe or Jared to go anyways, kind of.
But you want to bring in Jared.
What?
You want to bring in Jared now, though.
That's who Zach wants to bring in.
Okay.
So Zach is, for this vote anyway.
I'm listening. I'm just still gonna.
So for this vote, it seems like we're gonna have pretty much, it should be ideally just a 7-1 vote, against Chloe. Ideally, yeah. Because I don't really care if Jared's in it or not. All I know is that Zach wants to be in with us, and then he said he wants to bring in Jared and he'll get him to vote with us. So it seems like it's just gonna be an easy thing as long as you guys are good with Chloe. Did you guys? Who did you guys want to go out?
I wasn't really sure, honestly, because I don't have a reason to vote Chloe out. I don't have a reason to tell people because I don't think Daria or Rachel are super excited about that idea. So I want to be able to tell them something without not breaking their trust. So I feel like
Yeah, because I mean, as far as the Chloe thing goes, I know that during the challenge, and Zach and I, we met up and we talked about this like directly after Survivor ended last week. And one thing that we were on about was he and I had both thought that during the challenge, during our part of the challenge, it seemed that Chloe was a bit too, I don't know, she like just was like Jared, Zach, and I were trying to move slowly and carefully, and she just kind of was like a bit too anxious and Yankee with the thing.
Now that you mention it, I did kind of notice that, because like I was standing on the side. So.
Well, another thing, so here's what I'm thinking. So after we get rid of the even numbers, then we have 7. Then all we need is a solid 4, right, to move forward, just if we keep moving.
Are we still good?
So then, like us 3, and then Zach wants to make like a solid like 5. So then I was thinking like us 3, Zach, and then like Rachel. I don't know. All I know is that like after this, all we need is 4, and then so it could be just us 4 and Zach. And Zach is good with being a core 4, and then obviously we could bring in other people just to make the vote even more. So it's not like 4 to 3. Yeah, I mean, so this is just kind of like a big vote, and I feel like right now there is reason to vote Chloe out. My thing is between Chloe and Jared, but I think because first off, Chloe, I think is the least closest to everyone. Like, as in, I feel like I haven't had a single conversation with her one-on-one.
I had a conversation with her, and then also stuff got confirmed by Zach. Last week, she told me, and Zach told me, that she like met Zach in Lottie and like forced him to have a conversation with her, and was like, "Hey, so I don't trust you. We should be an alliance." And Zach was like, "Oh, nope. Red flag. So that's not. She's talked with Zach. That's not really going anywhere, as much as she might think it is. She talked with me, and after talking with me, it was kind of like I let her in on the stuff of. I let her in on the information time as best as I could without revealing a whole ton. But I think that she also thinks it's like we're okay, but I have never really promised anything, and I was like.
See, like, same. So I think that she's just trying to play everyone.
I think it's just, she's just trying to
reason.
not really build relationships either. So, like, I just don't really feel like it's a relational thing with her. That's what Zach said, too, to me, that it wasn't, like, a relational thing. It was more just like a, hey, let's just do this to do this. Like, it's not, like, actually getting to know the person. I don't know. At least that's what
also,
Zach
like,
said.
Survivor.
Yeah.
I want to, like, separate that.
Yeah. I don't know. I just feel like it's either kind of her or Jared that are kind of on the outs right now.
Yeah. Wait, why do you want Jared? Because, like, I think I might be on board, but I just don't really know what you're thinking right now.
Well, I'm just thinking, like, so I feel like in our core right now, kind of, we have, like, enough people that have good enough relationships with people on the other side that, like, we can trust to, like, help us.
Like,
but I don't necessarily, but I don't necessarily think that, like, I don't think Jared would, I think he would go, like, either way. I feel like he might go back to the old relationships, whereas I feel like Micah would use his relationships to help us, I feel like. And same with Zach.
Right.
Post-merge.
I would say
you would. And you've already said, and you've already been trying to do it, you know?
Yeah, I've been doing the best I can to influence the
so
other team.
I feel like it would be getting rid of someone with post-merge relationships that isn't as trustworthy as the other people that, like, we're good with.
Right.
Relationships, I guess.
I see what you're saying. So you're saying, like, core 4 is, like, us and Zach.
Yeah, that's what Zach wanted. And I think, I don't know, I'm open to whatever. That's what Zach wanted anyways. So I don't know what we should do about that. I just said that, like, that we should just figure out this vote, get it to where that person goes, and then after we can figure out, like, core 4 and stuff like that.
Yeah. I think it's pretty safe to say that, like, I feel like people would be okay with Chloe. I mean, at first, it would be, like, kind of a little bit resistant. But...
I mean, I think that, like, of the people right now, like, she's the most likely that everyone would be on board with voting for.
Yeah,
because
to make it a 7-1 vote, and that's what we want.
Yeah,
a
because
unified tribe.
I mean, because Jared and Zach are solid. From what you said, Rachel and Daria are fairly solid too. There's us, and I'm solid with Zach.
So tonight, Koa goes to their first tribal council, and first I was like, alright, I don't think I'm in trouble. But then Chris decided to throw out my name. So I was like, okay. But before he threw out my name, I threw out his name.
So I was able to get the entire tribe to vote for Chris tonight. The goal is to have that actually happen and not have everyone be lying to me and actually vote my name. But I had a fun little moment while I was walking to the Union, and I walked by Chris and I was like, hey, you ready for tonight? And he looked at me and he was like, yeah, are you? And I'm like, oh yeah. So it'll be interesting to see whose ideas play out. But made more progress talking to people on the tribe. Actually talked to Jared for a long time, but not about Survivor. Don't know if that was his strategy to like get me off topic, so I didn't get much information out of him, or if he just genuinely, I don't know, just wanted to talk. I don't know. So goal is to not get voted out tonight, get at most 2 votes, because I still don't trust Zach. But we'll see if that happens.
So a lot has happened in, I guess, the first 2 weeks of Survivor. So, first whole week we were fine. Everything was good. Chris approached me and he wanted to create this whole big alliance thing, trying to kick out Zach. Then, second week we lost the challenge and everything changed. And suddenly, Chris was more on the train of making sure that he stayed on Zach's side. And it was really weird. Like, he started reaching out to all these different people, creating all these different alliances and stuff, and it was like he was just talking to so many people and making so many different he promised things to Zach, promised things to me. I mean, his mistake though was telling Zach that he wanted to kick Jared out. Like that was his biggest mistake probably, because that tipped Zach off to the fact that some things were not as Chris was saying. So he checked with Jared and found out that Chris was making promises to a bunch of people. So Zach started the campaign to vote out Chris. And this whole time, Andrea and I have had I'm just kind of rambling here, sorry. Andrea and I have had this really strong, tight-knit alliance from the beginning that no one else really knows about, and so we've been kind of communicating, and all that I know is that at least this week I hopefully am safe, and yeah.
For the tribal council, we are kind of all gonna pretend that we're voting Chloe, but then we're actually gonna vote Chris. And I actually kind of started this whole train. I feel like a lot of people were like thinking Chris, but I kind of made it think that it was like their idea to vote Chris off. Because Daria, with the alliance between me, Daria, Jared, and Rachel, Daria was like, okay, well, I don't think we should vote off Zach because we don't want him to be voted off too soon because we need him for challenges. And then she didn't want to vote off Chloe. So that kind of just left like not Jared. Wait, am I missing someone? Chris. Okay, yeah, so that either left Micah or Chris. And so she was all like set to go for Micah. And I was like, wait, I don't want to vote Micah off because he's my ally. So I was like, okay, well, what about Chris? And I kind of like exaggerated how much flip-floppy he was doing and made it seem a little bit more like he was really just trying to be friends with everyone. And I mean, that's kind of what I'm doing, but I don't think they know that yet. So I definitely kind of started the train for Zach. And I kind of just, not Zach, sorry, for Chris. And then I talked to Zach about it, and then he said like he didn't trust him, so I kind of like exaggerated that. And so hopefully Chris is gonna get voted off, or else I'm gonna be in big trouble. But anyway, another giant thing that happened this week is that Micah now knows that I have the immunity idol clip. Because I had mentioned to him, because we were talking about like who we know on the other team, and we're trying to strategize like long term. And I was talking about how Matt Philippi has an immunity idol clue because it was in a stack of the pot stickers. What are they called? I still don't even know. Pot stickers. For the first challenge. And then Micah texted me like 2 days later. So like I kind of realized that I could have gotten tripped up as I said it, but I couldn't take it back at that point. And so he texted me and he said, so if there's an immunity idol clue in their stack, wouldn't it mean that there was one in ours? And I was the one running, so like if he put 2 and 2 together, he was eventually going to figure it out. And I figured I had a few choices. I could deny that there was one, and then if he found out later, then that would like break a lot of trust, I think. I could have said there was one, but I didn't get it, but that would have just been stupid because, you know, it was pretty obvious that I was the only one running back and forth. Like, that was my job. And so I figured, like, I was planning on telling him anyway because I cannot find it. So I think it would be better to have it be in play and maybe, like, backstab me in the end than just not have it in play at all. And also I thought that Micah would be a good person to kind of at least, like, try at. So I was like, you know, I was probably going to tell him anyway because I couldn't find it. But he kind of called me out on it anyway. And I was like, I swear I was going to tell you, I promise. But he understood. So so far we seem pretty cool. And he said that he approved my strategy of not telling him. So hopefully we can find it together. Because it's been raining nonstop for the past like 8 days, and if it's in the back 40, there's no way I'm finding it because it's under a lake right now. So it's been really unfortunate, this whole weather thing. So yeah, hopefully we can find it next week because I think Micah might be almost on the chopping block next week because now that we vote off Chris, it's probably going to come down to Chloe or Micah next immunity challenge. That's why we really need to win this one so we can have more time to find it. Also, I met with Jared, and he said, because I talked to him, because he's like for the Loft Alliance because he like wants to be, but he thinks that it's going to be smarter to be on the alliance with like me, Micah, and Zach. Just because I think he says that it'll get him farther. So hopefully he's not like playing both sides because he really might be. I have no idea what's in his mind right now. Also, Zach, so when he was trying to convince me to be on an alliance with him, and I already knew I was going to be. Like, me and Mike had already talked about it, and I already knew that that's what we were going to do. And he was like trying to convince me, and I let him just like, you know, try really hard. And so he said that we can be on an alliance. And you know what I see though? Is that once it gets down to us, he'll think that me and Micah are not like a super strong alliance, just an alliance by association. So he's going to try to get Micah to turn on me when it comes down to the three of us because I'm like the weak link here. And so I'm waiting for him to do that because I know Micah is like, you know, not going to hopefully bail me out. But either way, we're not letting anyone know, like Micah and I are not letting anyone know that we're actually like the alliance of the group. Like, we're just a part of alliances by association, but no one knows that like we are the alliance. So I'm kind of excited to see like at the end of the game or like as long as possible that we can hold off without that knowing and then see what people say because that'll be fun.
So our plan's a little different than last week. So we have to actually vote someone out this week.
Yeah, it's unfortunate.
So, yeah. But it's been pretty good because everyone thinks that they're in a majority and no one's been scrambling or rushing. Everyone feels comfortable because this one of those people is wrong.
So, but I don't think we're in either group that's wrong, so that's a good thing.
Yeah.
Unless we're both getting blindsided, which would be unfortunate.
That would be a little bad, but like pretty sure not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Alright guys, welcome to Tribal Council. Tonight, you will be voting the second person out of Survivor Kahuna. Micah, what was it like to experience your first loss?
I mean, I didn't really feel like it was, at least for me personally, I didn't feel like it was a loss because I couldn't really help in the puzzle part at all. So it didn't, I mean, it was frustrating, but I mean, like, there's nothing I could do, and I understood that everyone was still doing what they could, so it was fine. I was neither here nor there about it.
What were you saying about you said you weren't a part of the puzzle, so you didn't have anything to do with the loss?
No, not necessarily. It was just that, like, I mean, it was at least partially out of my control, so I didn't feel like, I felt like it wasn't just like any one person's fault. It was like, as a team, we all lost, and I was fine with it not being like anyone's fault, I guess.
Chris, how is this week different from last week in terms of the Survivor talk that went on?
I know personally, like last week I didn't know anyone, so a lot of the times just meeting up with people, it was just like getting to know people, and like a little bit of business, but this week it was a lot more business, I guess. It was just like, how are we going to address going forward? What should we do about this week? What should we think about later weeks? Like, stuff like that, I guess. It was just a lot more business.
Andrea, do you find, Chris was talking about, thinking about this week versus thinking about the future. Do you find yourself focusing on what you're doing this week? Are you planning ahead? Where are you looking at right now?
I'm kind of planning ahead. That's what you're supposed to do, right? I don't know.
Jared, is that what you're supposed to do?
I think it would be smart to plan ahead. You just think of 1 week at a time, like eventually something's going to turn around and fight you. So, yeah.
Okay.
It's smart to plan ahead.
How could you get screwed over by not looking into the future?
I mean, counting heads. Yeah, you just need to know numbers and if numbers are on your side or not.
Okay. So the potential of, well, these people might help me now, but they might not help me in the future?
Yeah.
Rachel, is that something you worry about at all? That these people might be on my side right now, but who knows what they're going to do next week?
Yeah, I mean, I think so. Like, we have the merge, like, we know people going into this game, so, like, if you have friends on the other side, like, who knows if they're going to stay with you if you just met them, like, now, versus, like, knowing people that are on the other tribe, so we can talk to each other, because we're not, like, actually stranded on an island.
And do you have friends on the other tribe?
Yeah.
Yeah? Who do you know on the other tribe?
Lindsay. Yeah. So, she's on my first year one.
Okay. Is there anyone who feels like they know a lot of people in the other tribe? Or no one probably wants to talk about that. Chloe, do you worry about people that might have a lot of connections on the other side?
I worry about a lot of things.
What have you been worried about this week?
I mean, I've tried not to worry about too much. Right now, this week I've just been worried about myself, really.
Okay. Self-preservation, right?
Yeah, I mean, isn't that like one of the needs? I don't know. Isn't there a hierarchy of needs?
Probably.
Maslow. Yeah. Yeah. So, knowledge.
Zach, how has this week been for you, survivor-wise?
It's been stressful. I mean, the first week was nice because we had a break. We didn't have to think about anything. We got along well as a tribe. We had a game night. It was fantastic. And then as soon as Ricky got voted off, it became a lot more real. So this week was a lot more about strategy and about trying to figure out where do you go from here. So,
how much do you worry about other conversations that are going on that you might not be a part of?
I mean, the thought's always going to be in the back of your head. But I think if you let that kind of consume everything, then you're just going to be paranoid, and that's a miserable way to play the game. So I think it's just a matter of choosing your allies wisely and hoping that they're going to stick with you and not stab you in the back.
So do you think it's good or bad to be paranoid in this game?
I think a certain amount of being paranoid is good. I know it's vague, but I think, having none is bad because then you get overconfident, and when people see confidence, I think it can scare them in the game. And then it works vice versa as well.
Daria, do you agree with that? That it's good to be a little worried, but to not let that overwhelm you in this game?
Yeah, I was hoping you would forget me.
Everybody gets at least one question.
I mean, I agree with Zach in that, like, being paranoid, like, overly is not good, because then you're not going to have fun, and a lot of it is, like, it's the point of it. We're doing it because we kind of like Survivor, probably, or, like, wanting to have some fun. So, like, don't, like, be over-paranoid so you don't actually enjoy it. But, like, you should still, like, shouldn't be completely thinking everything's perfect 100%, like, always try to be perceptive and make sure you're not overdoing things.
Do you feel like you've been paranoid at all this week?
Not overly. No, not too much. Like, I'll always keep it, like, a little bit just to be like, okay, I should definitely be thinking about things, but, like, not overly.
Andrea, first day of this game, you were chosen as the leader of your tribe. How has being the Kahuna affected your game so far?
That's a I think that, I don't know, I feel like it gives me some sort of level of responsibility that I'm really honored to take on, by the way. That was really not expecting it. But I think it adds a whole new level of fun, because, like, I'm thinking, like, oh, how would I place people in challenges, and, like, I don't know, it adds a new dynamic that I think I really enjoy.
Jared, you were one of the people that received 2 votes but ended up not being Kahuna. Are you happy that you were not in a leadership position?
I mean, I don't really mind necessarily if I was in leadership position or not. I'm very happy that Andrea is the Kahuna, though, because she was just so decisive, like, the first night, and she knew exactly what she was doing, and she did an awesome job.
All right, I like that.
She's also planned, like, all of our game nights and stuff, too. So she's really good with that.
Honestly, the social aspect is what I've been most excited about.
All right. Well, let's see what's going to happen tonight. It is time to vote.
You know, there's a famous saying in Harry Potter where Dumbledore goes to Harry and he goes, "Harry, did you put your name in the Goblet of Fire?" Which of course is not the case. However, I did put someone else's name in the Goblet of Fire.
Voting Chloe, because that's what the majority of the tribe seems to want to do. So, yeah.
Alright, if anyone has a hidden immunity idol and you would like to play it, now would be the time to do so. Alright, once the votes are read, the decision is final. The person voted out will be asked to leave the Tribal Council area immediately. I'll read the votes. First vote, Chloe. 1 vote Chloe. Chris. 1 vote Chris. Chris. 2 votes Chris, 1 vote Chloe. Chris. 3 votes Chris, 1 vote Chloe. Chris. 4 votes Chris, 1 vote Chloe. Second person voted out of Survivor Kahuna. Chris. Chris, the tribe has spoken. Time for you to go. That seemed like a blindside. The tribe's unified for the moment, but we'll see what happens next.
I mean, I guess I just got voted out tonight, which kind of sucked. A lot of people had me going far in their brackets, apparently, but that didn't work out. I don't know, my biggest thing, I guess, was I talked to too many people. I think my biggest downfall was not having any relationships going into it. So, like, everyone else kind of had people that they already trusted and knew going into it, and I kind of went in willing to trust anyone, and I assumed everyone else was going in with that mindset. But I guess I didn't really think about the fact that some people already like 100% trusted some others and like didn't trust everyone else, I guess. I don't know. So yeah, I think that was just my biggest downfall. I didn't have any relationships going into it. And I think if I would love to do it again, JJ, if there's an all-star season or something. Yeah, but so it kind of sucked. I definitely got blindsided. Yeah, that's pretty much it.